Hey, it's April with Homesteadin In The City. Come with me on a tour of my garden in the summertime when it's really hot. So I'm starting in the back. We're not even going to look at the front. I've got a whole other series coming about the front yard, and if I get the first video done, I'll post a link. But otherwise, stay tuned for that because that one's going to be interesting. I'm doing something different in the front. But let's check out the back right now. Okay, coming along the gate and along this fence, we have some canna lilies that I got at a plant swap. This isn't the best place for them, but I've been trying to get some things to grow around here besides grass and weeds. And I do have some blackberries. They're starting to come in. These were thornless blackberries I had gotten, but then a thorned variety had snuck in to that pack I had. Of course, here's my wood pile from whenever I had all those trees removed, and I won't be running out of firewood anytime soon. I also use these pieces to make borders for beds, and then the wood just decomposes in and it's fine. And then there's that persimmon tree did not make it. I'm gonna use these little tires for something. I know they're tacky, but it's also, hey, reduce, reuse, recycle. And then actually over here, are those some more Sea Island red peas coming up? Huh. I think I planted some a while back and I thought they all died, but I think they're coming back. I've got something coming over here. This was a failed onion patch. But now I have all these scuppernong vines coming, and we're starting to vine out around here. This was the berm where I had these leftover logs, and I thought I would try to grow things on top of them. And it's really cool because it's been a few years. So now these are starting to break down, and I'm really excited about that. But I've got some thyme coming in on top of that. And we had some pretty black-eyed Susans that stuck around for a bit. There's some more flat wildflowers. This might be jelly melon or some kind of cucumber coming up. I have some more thyme in that. And then some morning glories over here. And just back there I have compost and stuff. The uglier things. Of course, some random pots. Here's my she shed and my shed. And then we'll come back up around here. This is something new I put in. I wanted to build a moon gate. I think they're pretty cool. I'm gonna do a little backup there. Yeah, so the moon gate, really what I did was I bought 2 balloon arches from Amazon and just buried their bases into the ground. And then what I did was I started some loofah from seed. So I have some loofah growing up and vining, and hopefully we'll get some actual loofahs this year. We'll see. I was also trying to do some yellow jessamine, but no matter what I do to transplant it, it doesn't seem to survive. I even literally dug up the root, didn't even disturb the roots on one of them. Just the whole patch, dug completely around it. It didn't work out. So there's my fire pit. Right now it's too hot to fire pit. So anyway, we'll move back around the back of the yard. Got my string lights and my pergola coming up. More of the canna lilies. I thought I would try some of them near the shed as well. They're doing all right. And then here's the other project where I had some more scuppernongs. And it's been a few years. This is the oldest vine that I started up around the pergola, and so the goal is to eventually have scuppernongs growing up all the bases of the pergola, and so we can sit out here and while we're maybe enjoying a meal or something, reach up and grab some fruit. It's probably going to take a couple more years, but we're getting there. Of course, back here there's still some more wood, and where I live is the land of the vines, and I'm constantly trying to cut stuff back. Over there I've got compost and all the uglier things hidden in the back. Oh, over here, I bought an olive tree, and I've got to figure out where I want to plant it. I might try to make kind of a Mediterranean area out here, maybe even a possible water feature. I've got my big pomegranate grown from seed, and I think I might need to give you a little more water, pomegranate. It is super hot right now. Actually, today is a cool, maybe 88 degrees or something. So a nice chilly day for us here in South Carolina. But I've had this pomegranate in a pot. Eventually she'll go in the ground. And got the mimosa tree from my granddad's yard. I know they're invasive, but I really love them. They're my childhood. This patch of thyme has been here for years, probably over 10 years, whenever I first tried to garden in my 20s. And so that's the only thing that survived, and it keeps coming back, so that's cool. And then I've got a few more, scuppernongs are everywhere, and I've got a few wildflowers and things trying to come up, but this area is just too hot right now. Oh, back here, here's another thing. This is on my to-do list. Whenever I had a wooden fence back here, and it was falling down. I had somebody come and take it out, and after they took out the rotting fence, what was discovered was a possible well. And so I'm going to get a well guy to look at that, and if we can get it functioning, then it would be great to put a water feature back here. So as we're moving through, things are looking kind of rough. The prime of these tomato plants has passed. Like I said, the temperature is really ramped up. I also think that maybe the soil is still a little too alkaline. I've been trying to amend that, but I started out with a lot of wood chips and debris like that. And so in a couple more years though, I think we'll be in a really good spot. But these black cherry tomatoes have been really good. And then over here have been lemon boys, and I've gotten several off of those. Toothache plant. Keep a few pots of toothache plants around. Here was a random patch, so I had extra tomatoes. I had a lot of compost tomatoes come up, and tomatoes from seed. I tried to do some radishes over there. They did not grow in time, so now I've got radish seed pods over there. Here was where I had let some pumpkins and gourds decompose. It was very promising at first, but then I think I only got male flowers that I could see. So we did not get any pumpkins on that, but maybe next time. And then of course, more of the tomatoes. This variety, I think it was the Better Boy. They did not do so hot. But again, I think some of the soil still has something to do with it. Then over here, I had grown some collards, and mainly I was just letting them go to seed. And so I've pulled off most of the seed pods for that. And so I'll pull that up. And then this one's pitiful too. I'd planted these cantaloupes, and they've just kind of been stagnant. I might try to move them later. Here, oh yeah, and I have some more tomatoes coming in. That particular tomato is not doing too good, but these were kind of bonus tomatoes. I tried a little bit of corn. I don't think we're gonna get too far with the corn, but we'll see. Mainly I've just been testing things out and seeing how they do in places. And some tomatillos, of course they're in a very hot spot, so you can see their leaves are getting fried no matter how much water I try to give them. But we've got little bitty signs of tomatillo life coming in there. Got a little one over there, so maybe by the end of summer there'll be something. Of course, if you watch previous videos, here's the strawberry patch. And I'm letting these runners come in, and at the end of the season I'm just gonna clip those off, and I'll have extra strawberry plants for that. And then along here we're gonna have tons of scuppernongs, which are of the muscadine family, but these are a little sweeter than your regular muscadines. Not too much going on there. I did have some garlic, planted it too late, so I think it's all dead. We've got banana trees coming up, some in the ground. This one in the pot actually came from that one. That one's been smaller since I put it in the ground, so there you go. Then I'm working on getting my line of elder trees in. I've got one in a pot that I need to put in the ground. And my poor pitiful loquat, when I moved it, and it's in a hot spot, but there is new growth coming in on it. And so this loquat, he should make it, I think. And then more Sea Island red peas. I had this scrap piece of metal and I decided to make a trellis. Of course, I didn't do the string long enough on all of them, so they kind of came up from under and they gotten all twisted up, but it's fine. They're still serving their purpose there. And then to come back around over here, more tomatoes. And a lot of these started coming up in my compost, and I was just trying to find places for them. A few of these I planted or propagated. As you can see, here's some that need to be moved. These were coming up from seed. And so lots going on there, lots of tomatoes. There's the catio, Cleo's catio, and then more compost tomatoes. So they're in these pots. Yeah, I know that they need to be in the ground with and not so crowded to really start thriving. So eventually, hopefully, I'll get them moved. But we do have some little blooms happening there. And then here's a little flower box where I repurposed some old drawers after renovating the bathroom. And if you want to see anything about that project, post in the comments. I might still make a video about it, whether you say it or not. But if you say it, then I most definitely probably will make a video about making a flower box from a drawer. It's really easy. But I planted some random wildflowers and sunflowers, and so it's cool to see them finally coming up as well. Lots of basil happening over here. I've been propagating basil. And I've got some oregano. And my poor borage, it's just too hot for the borage over here. I tried to repot it, tried to help it. It's not doing so great. The kale's all right if I can keep the worms from eating the kale. I've been fighting worms so much this summer. They've been on all my stuff, and I'll find them and squish them. But it's an ongoing challenge. We'll take a step into the greenhouse. The greenhouse is fairly new this year. I put it in, I think, in the spring, early spring. It was a Christmas present, but we have more basil and it's looking good. And this is actually holy basil. I was growing this because one of my friends asked me to. And so that's probably my bigger holy basil, because I know that thinning them out does them better, but I hate killing them. So yeah, some that I thinned out better than others. And so I need to go and thin out these as well. Here's some lavender that finally from seed came up. And then here's purple basil and a rosemary propagation I got. Oh, there's more of the holy basil too. And some chamomile that is struggling. I think it's too hot for the chamomile. I might need to move it out of here. But my purple basil, don't tell anybody, shh, but I pulled it from the botanical gardens whenever I was at a wedding. And they had a ton of it. I don't think anybody noticed, but it's thriving right now. Then over here is an orange tree that's doing great here in the greenhouse. And then we got an agave that I got at a plant swap. And then back here, here's some avocados that came back from the winter. Thought they were dead, but they popped back in. Same thing with my citrus trees. These are lemon and grapefruit. I think this one and this one's the grapefruit. I thought that this guy had died. I was about to like repurpose the pot. And then all of a sudden, we got some new growth and it's thriving better than any of them. And I think that's lemon as well. These pots have avocado pits in them, but they haven't come up. Everything else is coming up in them instead. And they've just been keeping some cactus in here. A lot of stuff gotten from plant swaps. And then collard green seeds, celery seeds, Sweet William seeds came out over here. I think I got the Sweet William in this container. And around here, there's also some succulents that I need to take better care of. And yeah, our radish seeds. So that's what's going on in the greenhouse. Oh, of course, the aloe vera. We got aloe everywhere. And we'll come out here and check out these pots. Here's the persimmon trees that are doing great. And I've got to figure out where I want to plant them. And then the toothache plants are coming in nice. I love these little yellow buds. And they're just fun, especially when you want to prank your friends. Over here's a native plant that just randomly came up that I may try to move and use as shrubbery up in the front. It's a Yalpin holly. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But that's cool. And then we have another pomegranate tree. And then more aloe, sage, chives, thyme, more thyme, some mums. These mums were from my grandmother's funeral a handful of years ago, and they're still hanging on. They keep coming back. I think this was called a red beauty. I can't remember its scientific name, but I bought one plant from the farmer's market, and then a bunch of other little guys came up. Of course, I always have oak trees trying to come up everywhere because we've got this big oak right here. So I think I will never not have oak trees trying. Then more oregano. Here is wild bergamot. We still haven't flowered yet. And then yeah, more Sweet William. So he's seeding, he's growing. Oh, that little wild, did that come out of the daisy or is that another wildflower? Then I tried to move some of the kale over here. It's kind of stunted. And then I forget what these are called, but these are cool little fluffy plants that grow well in shade. So that's why they went over here. And then some random things in the earth box. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a DIY earth box video soon. But I've got some more holy basil that something's been eating. Some rosemary propagations. I think this is a lemon. Then some onions that are getting pretty big. And then I think this is an avocado. So, and then of course, my very big onions. They're too thick to eat. But we are getting seed pods off of them. Oh, and I'm a real gardener now. I've done Swiss chard. I've gotten the Swiss chard to live. And so once it gets past its delicate phase, it does all right. And I'm surprised at how it's been doing in the heat. I think being under the shade and being in the earth box has helped it. I need to harvest that soon. Then we'll come up back through here where it has some random things in pots. More scuppernong vines. some kale that's getting eaten, a pawpaw tree. And it's a random pawpaw tree that came up. I'm really excited about that pawpaw tree. And then I'm trying to do some blueberries, but they are not looking too hot. I don't have high hopes for these guys staying. And then it's too hot for the cilantro. It's about done for. Of course, we got extra trees trying to grow up. And then there was cilantro in here. We've gone to seed. But in this pot, we have some pink purslane coming up, which is I think our only native succulent in this area. And it'll grow wild, and I'm actually always happy whenever I see it. So then we're moving back to where we started. Here's my big old fig tree. And I love this guy. We have so many figs, and it's about fig season. They're starting to get ripe slowly, but we ought to have plenty of figs to eat. I remember when this tree was just a little fella, and now look at it. This one's gonna get, you can't see it from the leaf. This one is gonna get ripe soon. Oh wait, here's one that I think I can go ahead and pick, because fortunately the figs will ripen on the counter. I tend to get a lot of ants that like to get into the figs. The birds like them too, but I think the ants like them even more. And then I was able to propagate 2 fig trees off of this one. This particular one I thought was dead because it was with this stick right here. This one didn't make it, but for a while springtime came, nothing came, and then all of a sudden we had some growth. Then we have some lemon balm, some more onions. We have our spearmint, our julep mint, and our balloon flowers. So the cool thing about the balloon flowers is they'll come in as balls, then they'll look like little balloons. They'll turn that purple blue color, and then they'll open up in these little pretty flowers. So that's what we've got going on here in the garden in the summer. Thanks for coming on my tour with me, and we'll see you next time.